Alright, so here we are. We made it to the little shop here. Ran up to Phoenix and visited Ramon and Jesus and picked up my new radiator fan. We're about to assess the damage here. Pop the hood. Alright. First of all though, always want to make sure you're safe when jacking up the car. So we have the wheels blocked off with some wood just in case so it can't roll backwards. There's a couple different things you can do. Of course you can use jack stands like that. That's extended pretty far for my comfort. So one of the things you can do if you have a lot of wood, which we do here, but I'm not going to do it this time because I have to dig it out, but you could do just like this here, put like a 2x4 underneath of it, and then I mean your car can't go very far, your suspension can still go down a little bit once if it dropped off, but you could put it all the way up to the wheels and you could use those as jack stands instead. You could lower the car on pieces of wood, and as long as you have the back wheels blocked off, you're good. Of course with the e-brake as well. But what I'm doing is I put another jack stand there, and we have a bunch of matching ones, but they're all over. So I have two matching holding the car up, the main one's holding the car up. Then I have that one there, which I would prefer to have two in the same place, so like two, one at each control arm up where it mounts. You don't want to be down here, it could easily slip off. But what I did was, I mean these are safe, but I'm just being careful. Put one there, and I put another one back. I should move that over a little bit because it's not going to do a lot of good where it's at now. I should move it a little more over towards the actual rocker panel of the car there. I mean, I wouldn't want to smash it up, but I don't want the car falling on me either. So I brought some trash bags out because I forgot to go change. I have shirts, work shirts. I work in a industry that get dirty sometimes, so I would I already have shirts that are good for stuff like this, but I did not want to stop on the way home. I was just ready to work on the car and I just wasn't thinking. So initial damage, the one thing I already know about is there's a fan there which it rubbed on something, so I'm going to inspect that a little bit more, make sure it's not going to hit anything else. Then the fan with all the fins broken off right below the intake there. The reason they're all broken up is because half the fins broke off, so it threw it way out of balance. And when something's out of balance like that, it's just like really dangerous, especially to be near coolant lines and everything else. So I was moving the radiator a lot. It could have messed up the hose, and it was going to really trash that motor really fast. Could cause a big issue. So I broke all the fins off to get it as balanced as I could, because I wasn't going to reattach to the old ones with like glue or anything and have them come off. The car has a good enough cooling system. I still had another fan. I wasn't going to worry about that. I wasn't leaking coolant, nothing. So that was our option since we were in Mexico actually. So let's get underneath the car. See, this is my first time underneath since, and it looks like all this can probably be snapped back in. You can see yeah, and all of them are kind of unhooked right now, the little tabs that are supposed to be slid into here instead of on top of it. We're going to take all that off to get that radiator fan out. There's no room up top, so we're going to take that off, inspect, which I needed to anyways, because we need to inspect underneath here and make sure nothing got damaged, and so we can see anything that might be coming. So looks like we're going to take off, let's see, I guess we'll take off this whole piece, which I wish I had my blue point set with me, but it looks like we're going to have to take off all of these starred bolts. We'll just have some stuff clipping in, so all of these, and we'll get to see everything, make sure nothing's damaged. I'll bring you guys back when I get to that part. Alright, so here's what we're working with. I got the cover for the bottom taken off. Real easy. This was bolts that we were talking about. And then just had to lift up and pull out. So here's what we have. Really surprised initially. I thought the radiator got hit and it moved the fan far enough to get hit by something, because it can move quite a bit. But no, I think I got like extremely lucky because it was like a edge that came up, so it must have came up right here and broke. There's supposed to be a fan right here. This is like part of the shroud, and it's supposed to be right here, and I think it just hit it and broke it in half, and that one rubbed on whatever we hit there on that dirt road, and nothing else is rubbing, nothing else has been hit. I mean, it's really cool. The oil pan is tucked up pretty well. So here's what we need to do. I'm gonna unplug the connectors. I think there's another connector on there. Anyways, I'm gonna unplug any connectors, and it looks like we just have four so far. Torx screws, and that shroud should come down, and then we can switch that fan out and just put it back in. So I'm gonna try and get that off. If I have any struggles or anything, I'll tell you about it at the end, or go ahead and show you along the way, just in case you need to do something like this. And I'll see you guys in a bit. So there's two on each side, two on the left, two on the right, about the same distance from the top, just as this one is from the bottom. So we got all four of those off. This gave me trouble coming off because it's been on there so long, and there's a really good insulator on there, rubber, kind of like an O-ring. So you have to lift this red piece up. Oh, it won't even go down right now without the other one plugged in. That's pretty neat. So you have to end up pulling. This is normally down. You push it straight up. Then it's gonna take a lot to get it out of there because it's just been on there so long. A lot of wiggling. Seems like it's like just stuck on there, but it will come off. So I got the 4 bolts out. I'm gonna check from the top. I thought this was gonna have to come down. Looks like we can come up really easily to the top if I move this part of the intake. I'm gonna see what that all entails here, and then I'll show you guys what I end up doing. Alright, as you can see, or probably tell, it is so hot outside. But here's what I did. The top of it, of course, the top of your intake actually goes to the throttle body, of course, because the air comes from underneath the filter here, gets filtered, goes through. So actually, all that holds this on are, these are like grommets here. There's one here, and then there's, oh, the other one is right there. So there's one there, one here, that is here and here, and that you actually don't have to unbolt anything to get that out. Something you would have to unbolt is this part of your intake. It takes air in here. This bolts right in here. Normally this fan, of course, is down lower, and it bolts here. There's just 2 Torx head screws. You can see the mounting right there. So normally it would go in there if the fan was out of the way, and then that goes onto there. The cover just has these little clips, so it'll all clip back together here when I'm done. I'll show you that. I'll show you guys putting that back together, so you guys can see what I actually did, because that wasn't a very good explanation because the fan shroud's in the way. So also what I had to do was just unscrew the intake lid, of course. Should be able to see what I'm doing. Fairly simple. Just, you know, make sure you're not pulling any lines. Don't be forcing it unless you get to a point where you know you just have to squeeze through and you check everything else. Like right now I could just pull it, but I'm gonna work my way around so I don't end up damaging any connections. Volkswagen, there's so many different little connections, or like right here there's a sensor here, you can't see it, and yeah, that's, you don't want to be damaging something like that. I also said the intake goes back to the throttle body. I forgot. Well, I didn't forget that my car is turboed, but actually goes back to the turbo. Throttle body's on the front here. So we have our fan shroud out. Let's check this thing out. Look at it together here. Okay, yeah, this can be really simple. So, of course, there's one that's broke. All right, so we have the fan bolted in. When you're doing this, you want to make sure you don't just tighten down like, okay, put the nut on this bolt and then tighten it all the way down. Don't do that. Everything's gonna be out of balance. Not necessarily out of balance, but tightness is not going to be even. It's going to be cocked in there. It can end up rubbing on something. So what you're going to want to do is start a nut on each one. Start running it down a little bit. Run it down a little bit, like by hand. Don't like be tightening it. And by hand, I mean I take the socket, and if you don't want to pull it off, you can spin it by hand, spin it by hand, spin it by hand. Get it even, and then tighten a little bit, tighten a little bit, tighten a little bit, and get it to the point where, okay, they're all getting tight, getting the same tightness. This is a very small bolt. You could easily snap the head off that. You do that, then you're gonna have problems. You have to get a whole new fan. Unless it looks like you could press out the old ones from your other one. Maybe, I don't know. There's a lip right there. You're gonna have trouble with that. So just, you know, be smart. This is it doesn't think like a 3/8 drive. You think this is nothing. This is a lot of leverage. You can barely even tell like how much you're really putting on there. That's leverage. Like 8mm bolts and stuff like that. When you start working on smaller stuff, which that's not much bigger than 8mm bolt would be, or not. It might be about the same size, or maybe even just a bit smaller. About the same size. Those are not really that strong. Just tight. You know, use your best judgment. Get it all even. So the connectors, they all stay on. They've all been on there so long. It's such a pain. Like this one, I don't know if you can see that, but you pull back on this part. Sometimes you push down on them. Sometimes you pull back. It all depends. I looked at the new one like it is now, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's how it's supposed to go. Because on the old one, this has been in there so long, it wasn't really moving, and you don't want to force it. You don't really know which way it's going on there. So I just check out the new one and look at that kind of stuff. You can see clips on right there. So we're gonna go ahead and plug it in. Alright, so there's all these things to keep you from messing up or getting a wire caught in a fan. Okay, for one, like the wires running inside here. You see that? So of course you're gonna run them in there. I'm gonna get that one ran in there, right here. There, it fits in this slot here. So if yours isn't on here and anything, like if yours isn't in there like it's supposed to be, you can see some of the stuff that, like if someone took it apart before, didn't put it back in all the way correctly, you can get that actually fixed. Okay. So run that one in here. Like this one looks like it's missing a clip. I'll show you what I mean. I'll get that one in there. Get it in there good. Alright. There's these clips right here. And these are just another thing to save your butt. So you don't end up having a wire just sitting on the radiator or get caught by a fan somehow. Clips over that. Wire's not going anywhere. That's why I suspect this is a pretty short one, so maybe they didn't use one, but I would think they would have. I mean, this is the same length and they have one here, so we don't have one. We can use a zip tie. I don't think it's going in. Yeah, it did come out pretty easily. So I'm actually going to put a zip tie on that, put it nice and tight, cut the excess so it doesn't rub on anything. So there you go. So just that small stuff. Take your time, put everything back together right, get it routed well. Like I could have put that underneath, but it seemed like it put more stress on the wires. So I went ahead and ran it above, you know, got our safety there. Alright, so I'll get this placed in there and then show you guys how some of the intake and stuff like that goes together. Something else you're going to want to do before install, you can plug this in and see if it's going to run. That's what I should do. However, I'm not going to, just because, let me think. It's going to blow down. It's going to create a big mess. I'd have to get my car to cycle it on. I could probably do that with just starting and keeping the AC on. But it's going to be a big mess. It's going to be, try and go, like this thing could just take off. I don't have anything to strap it down to right now. We're going to go ahead and go. Trust that it's going to work. I have to drive it for work this week anyways. So if it doesn't work, as long as this one's getting power, we'll be happy. And then there won't be one running out of balance. I wouldn't put that one back on anyways. So we'll go ahead and do that. But another thing, the whole reason I brought you guys back on here was making sure that it spins true. You can see it's not spinning wobble. Like if it was cocked at all, it could be down and rubbing on this part of the cover, because I mean there isn't much clearance at all right there. You could easily be rubbing on something there. You have your piece here, you're most likely not going to rub there, but you could be. So you just want to make sure that your fans are spinning well. Looks like this one's had a couple of hits. I'm assuming nothing's going to happen to that unless they got hit again. So there we go. Maybe not a couple of hits, probably just that one time. I don't know why my radiator fan would be getting hit that often. Alright, so I'm going to go inspect that pipe I found a little crack in the mount for, see exactly what it's for, see how I feel about that, what I'm going to do, and then I'll go ahead and install this fan shroud then. Alright, sweet. Alright, so I got the new fan in, 4 bolts and just a plug. I am going to start it, don't worry, without the intake. Not that big of a deal. There's going to be for a few minutes here. Well, not even for a few minutes. Not even for a few minutes, I hope. Let's see. So I should just have to alright, AC's on. We gotta make sure everything's clear again. So that's all this move. Okay. Oh, yep. You can see it's working. When the engine gets a full operating temp, and it's just sitting without moving, without getting enough air in, that will crank up to a higher RPM. Nice and smooth. Checking clearances again. Yep, everything's fine. The crack. I got all this cleaned up. All the plastic was all, I mean, it's scraped up still. Of course, I mean, there's gonna be no getting around that without getting a new piece, which don't really see the need. I need to tuck that in still right here. But yeah, all that was really messed up. Everything was out of order. You know, some of these were pushed up, bent a little bit. This was all popped out. It was all kind of like just out of order. So just, you know, pulled everything off, got everything straightened up. Like I said, I'll tuck that in, and then that part's good to go. So here's what we have going on. We're gonna lift this part of the intake out of the way. All this is a drain. So if there's water or anything in there, you could get that out. Well, as far as I know, I don't know what else that would be used for. My assumption being at the lowest point, going down in the fender well here, it'd be a drain. It does have a little cork in the bottom though. Alright, so we gotta make sure that piece goes back into the fender well, so it's not getting in the way later. We have just a second. How we're gonna have to do this, since that drain's really flexible, what we can do is we have to get around the hose here, and we're gonna just go around that. Tuck this in and get it down there where it belongs. You're in your home. Alright, so we have one more hose here. Nice EGR exhaust steel that will warm up the engine when it's cold. It has a valve that'll open up. Alright, that hose just slips on. There's nothing else holding it on. Alright, we place the grommets on top of those two, they're not really bolts, but they bolt in, so then they'll pop up around it and hold it down. So they're both lined up, so just push that one down, that one down. Okay, now that piece is installed. That's all there is to do with that. Also, we would put this on, but it gets in the way of our Torx here, our Torx driver. So we're going to keep that out of the way. We're going to take this part of the intake. Let's check it out. This ring right here, this goes into there. Right there. Line this all up. Oh, there we go. Felt like something was in the way, but had to be Positioned correctly. Put that on my head there. Make it useful. I'm gonna need to start that by hand. I'm pretty sure I had to do that one with actual wrench. Let's see. Nope. That's not too sharp of an angle. It can still get started straight. Okay, you don't, just like I mentioned with the fan motor, the fan and the motor combined, you don't just bolt one thing on and clamp it all the way down. You get started, you want everything to align correctly. It's not just, I mean, just because that bolt's there, there's still a lot of play. And that could prevent it from lining up correctly. You want everything to line up correctly, not have any stress on anything. And that also applies to the fan shroud. So I started from the top. I started a bolt here on the top of it. Started one of the top bolts. Got this other top bolt started. Just started because I may need to, move around to get those others started. Got the other two started. Then I went in, not all the way, but like not to where it's tight, but where you're getting close. You're making contact, but there's still movement. So I did that with the bottom two. Then I got up to the top, made sure everything was aligned correctly. You can kind of feel where it feels like it's at home. Then kind of get the other started pretty much to where you're getting some contact, some movement still, get some contact here. See everything feels right. Then tighten each one, and then you're good to go. Everything's gonna be good, straight, aligned. Same thing with this. Only 2 bolts on this one, but it's plastic. We don't want it way out of alignment. So I started the other one, went down a ways. Not to worry, prevent any movement to get it lined up. I mean, you think, oh, screw in, there's nowhere else for it to go. I mean, it's not like there's 2 slots where you can move it back and forth, or up and down. But you can still get it out of alignment. There's still play there. Get that to where it's touching, but there's still some play. Make sure everything feels good. Feels good. So I know that one's good. Everything feels right. I'm gonna go ahead and go tight with that one. So that'd be that tight. It's plastic. This one here, the last half turn or so. All right, feels great. All right. We have this cover here that just clips on. That's where it belongs. Alright. So one thing I don't like about this intake is that a lot of them have quick disconnect type deal to get it off fairly fast. But no, not us. Not with Volkswagen. I don't need to replace here at my oil change coming up. Not Volkswagen. I mean, I like a lot of things about these cars, especially the electronics when they work. But something like this, I shouldn't have to do. I'm not going cranking it tight, because then you're going to get an uneven seal. This is especially important to have aligned, because you don't want to uneven, clamping down all uneven, and then ending up with dirty air coming through right into your engine, especially somewhere in the southwest like this. You know, all kinds of dust getting in there. I keep beating that thing into the idea into the ground, but it's important. It's very important. Just the right way to do things. Taking your time. So seems like a Volkswagen tech has this thing has had all the service at Volkswagen. I bought it second hand. All the Carfax shows all the work done at Volkswagen. A few of these aren't in the best condition. It's just a plastic box. They were over tightening it. I mean, it's plastic. You're screwing into plastic. You don't need to have these crazy over tightened. Just snug. That's what the gasket's for. Alright, so that's it. Just have to drop this thing on the ground. Oh, you. I'm so jealous. Look at that. So cute. He's gonna love the camera. Great. Oh, there we go. Here comes the big sister. Here comes the big sister. Sit. There you go. I know you're missing all the attention because these cute puppies, they end up looking like you. Oh. I know, you're right, dude. Love me. Look at that, they know. You're right, dude. I'm the star. Put the camera.